Chapter 31, Treasure Hunt. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 10,000 years ago, the Xianjian Patriarch was very powerful and often challenged strong people everywhere. For so many years, he has completely disappeared. Many people say that he was killed by a powerful opponent, some say that he went to other continents to make a living, and some say that he was in seclusion in the Jinyu Sword Sect. Now, he finally appeared. Moreover, his strength is even better than before, and his sword intent is terrifying. The three of them were trembling from such a distance. Need I say more about how powerful he is? Although the large army in the rear did not know that this was the Xianjian Patriarch, they had not even heard of the Xianjian Patriarch, but the terrifying strength of this old man is obvious to all. This is exciting. When the disciples and elders of the Jinyu Sword Sect saw that their ancestor finally showed up, they burst into thunderous cheers. In their minds, the ancestor is invincible. As long as the ancestor is there, there is nothing that cannot be done and no one that cannot be killed. These so-called Kunlun Holy Land people deliberately provoke to this extent, and it's time to destroy them. Countless disciples looked at the Xianjian Patriarch with expectation, admiration, and respect, hoping that the Patriarch could slap Ye Chen to death right now. Only in this way can the reputation of the Jinyu Sword Sect be barely preserved. However, Ye Chen seemed to be unable to feel the overwhelming and shocking sword intent of the other party, and still had a friendly smile on his face. Why do you have to do this? We are a reasonable sect and don't like to fight and kill all the time, Ye Chen sighed. Stop talking nonsense. If I don't take your life today, I would rather commit suicide. The Xianjian Patriarch was also very strong-willed. Without saying a word, he threw out a cold and sharp sword, and its sword energy spanned the void and pierced the sky. Its murderous aura went straight to Ye Chen's heart. One sword out, the world was shocked. This is his strength. He has studied the sword very deeply. This sword contains his peak spirit and energy, and it may even threaten the real fairyland. But just when everyone thought Ye Chen would be killed, he just stretched out a finger and pointed at the tip of the sword. Ding! A sound of steel colliding sounded. In the horrified eyes of countless people, the sword actually broke into pieces, and all the sword energy disappeared in an instant. The most horrified was the Xianjian Patriarch. He knew too well the power of his sword, but the opponent only used one finger to destroy his sword. Before he could react, a greater force had already fallen on him. The Xianjian Patriarch opened his mouth in despair as if he wanted to shout, but the next moment his body exploded into a ball of blood mist. The peak ancestor of the crossing tribulation period, die. The hearts of countless people were filled with indescribable shock. In their minds, the ancestor-level figures were already the best, at least in the falling moon realm. If the Holy Land did not leave, there was no problem walking sideways. But people just used one finger to kill him. Looking at Ye Chen again, his expression was relaxed and without any pressure. It seemed that for him, killing an ancestor in the tribulation period was as simple as killing a fly. The three sect masters who were watching the battle had already doubted their lives. They thought that the appearance of the Xianjian ancestor could compete with the Kunlun Holy Land. In the end, he still couldn't escape the matter of a finger. What realm has he reached? Could he be a true immortal? No. He has definitely reached the level of a true immortal, or even exceeded it. It's too scary, we must not get involved. Let him take whatever he wants. The three sect masters were shocked and more fortunate. It was indeed the right thing to watch the fire from the other side of the river. The people of Jinyu Sword Sect were the most horrified. How could the ancestor they admired the most not even catch a finger of someone else? The whole sect was silent. Everyone looked like they had seen a ghost. The only two remaining ancestors were silent at this moment, not daring to move. Their strengths are similar. If the other party can kill him with one finger, they can also kill both of them. At this time, even a fool knows that he must not go against the other party again, otherwise, the entire sect will really be gone. An unprecedented chill surged into their hearts. The man with a smile on his face, like a sunny boy next door, gave them the feeling of the most terrifying demon. Ye Chen sighed again. Alas, I have said that we are very reasonable and generally will not take action. Can't you blame me for this? Don't blame me. Of course you can't blame me. It's all because of the old guy Xianjian who is blind and deserves to die. An ancestor hurriedly put on a smile, and his tone was full of flattery to Ye Chen, fearing that if he said something wrong, he would end up like the ancestor Xianjian. We told him a long time ago to be kind to others and be careful not to make a big mistake. It really happened today, right? We have advised him, but it's useless. Another ancestor innocently distanced himself from the ancestor Xianjian. Seeing their facial expressions change, everyone felt that it was reasonable. Unless they were brainless, they would continue to shout for war and killing. We, the Qingxu Sword Sect, are also a reasonable sect. We like to communicate with people who are also reasonable. Senior, if you have any instructions, just tell us. We will definitely satisfy you. The smile on the face of an old ancestor was almost wrinkled into a chrysanthemum. In the end, Ye Chen looted tens of thousands of sword formulas, tens of thousands of swords, and spiritual stones piled up into mountains from Qingxu Sword Sect, and even countless natural treasures. He didn't need these things, but they would be very useful when Kunlun Holy Land expanded in the future. The two ancestors wanted to empty the entire sect before sending away the 4 plague gods. Seal the mountain. All formations are activated. From today on, the mountain will be closed indefinitely. Qingxu Sword Sect was really scared. I just hope that Kunlun Holy Land can also destroy Tiangang Dao Sect and Guiyuan Sect, otherwise they will feel unbalanced. After leaving Qingxu Sword Sect, Ye Chen was satisfied and took 4 disciples to Tiangang Dao Sect. He didn't forget to teach a few disciples. See? As long as we talk about reason, it's still easy for everyone to communicate. The 3 disciples nodded repeatedly, but they felt something was wrong. It seemed that it had nothing to do with reasoning just now. However, since the master said so, then it is. The crowd of people following behind them were stunned when they heard their conversation. Reasoning? You call this reasoning? Who has ever seen a tribulation crossing ancestor killed by reasoning? The plaque with the words Kunlun Holy Land, convincing people with reason became particularly dazzling in the eyes of everyone. Not long after, Ye Chen arrived outside the mountain gate of Tiangang Dao Sect. Like Qingxu Sword Sect, Tiangang Dao Sect was also on high alert, and everyone was full of murderous intent, but the difference is that in addition to Tiangang Dao Sect, people from Guiyuan Sect also gathered here. It seems that these 2 sects are going to join forces to deal with Ye Chen. Chapter 32 2 True Immortals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The killing of the sect leader is definitely a great shame and humiliation, and it is also an irreconcilable hatred. Therefore, the 2 sects simply united and wanted to fight against Ye Chen. They just didn't believe that the combined strength of the 2 sects could not defeat one person. They had also heard about the things in the Qingxu Sword Sect, but they also had their own confidence. The acting sect leaders of the 2 sects gathered together at this moment, facing Ye Chen from a distance. We don't want to entangle with you. If you know what's good for you, admit your mistakes and kowtow. We will let bygones be bygones, that the acting sect leader of Guiyuan Sect shouted coldly. If not, the combined strength of our 2 sects will definitely kill you on the spot, that the acting sect leader of Tiangang Dao Sect also issued an order. Looking at the firm expressions on their faces, Ye Chen understood that he had to reason this time. You want to come together? That's good too, and I can save the time of looking for them one by one. Ye Chen smiled lazily. His words sounded extremely arrogant in the ears of the people from the 2 sections. No matter how powerful he is, he can't fight against 2 sects, right? However, the large army behind Ye Chen thought that it was not necessarily the case. Ye Chen could kill a tribulation crossing ancestor with just 1 finger. He also forced 2 tribulation crossing ancestors to pay a huge price to settle the matter. No matter how strong Guiyuan Sect and Tiangang Dao Sect are, they can only take out tribulation crossing ancestors at most. Having more people may not be useful. At most, they can only have 2 more fingers. Unless they can invite an ancestor of the true immortal level, otherwise, resistance is really meaningless. Arrogant. However, we cannot pursue your sins for the time being, and give you 3 more days to go back and reflect on it. The acting leader of Xuanhuan sect shouted coldly. Many people felt very strange when this was said. Their formation has been set up, shouldn't they take down Ye Chen now? Why did they give him 3 days to go back and reflect on it? It's unreasonable. Why does it seem like they are deliberately delaying time? What are these 2 sects planning? When Ye Chen confronted the 2 sects, 2 figures suddenly appeared in the void in the distance. One of them was Su Lingyun. The person standing next to Su Lingyun was not Tao Yaoyao, but a middle-aged beautiful woman. Elder Ruyan, we seem to be late. Seeing the scene in front of her, Su Lingyun couldn't help but feel a little anxious, and she didn't know why she was anxious. Ruyan looked at Ye Chen and frowned. There is something wrong with this boy. I can't see through his strength. Could it be that his realm is higher than mine? Impossible, I am already in the realm of true immortals. He should have some secret method to cover up. Elder Ruyan has a charming figure, big where it should be big, thin where it should be thin, and 2 soft balls that are heavy and slightly shake as she speaks. At the same time, she is also a very proud woman. Because she is the inner elder of Luoyue Holy Land, and she is currently in the realm of true immortals. With her identity and strength, she is indeed qualified to look down on everyone. The Falling Moon Holy Land had heard about the Kunlun Holy Land to some extent, and also learned that Su Lingyun had been to the Fulong Mountains before, so, Elder Ruyan came with Su Lingyun. If the suddenly rising Kunlun Holy Land really turned the Falling Moon realm upside down, she would intervene. The Falling Moon realm is the territory of the Falling Moon Holy Land. Elder Ruyan, can you spare the life of that young man? Su Lingyun seemed to be begging Ruyan. Hearing her words, Ruyan showed a half-smile expression and asked back, why? You don't feel sorry for him, do you? Su Lingyun blushed and explained seriously, no. I don't. Elder Ruyan, don't talk nonsense. I just think he didn't do anything wrong, that it was originally Ye Chen who accepted the disciple first, and then others wanted to forcibly snatch him away, which triggered a series of disputes. Speaking of which, she felt that Ye Chen was innocent. Think about it, if Ye Chen hadn't been able to kill everyone in seconds, he would have been killed by the Jinyu Sect master without leaving any bones. All he did was just to protect himself and fight back. Don't worry, I won't kill anyone, I will only mediate. However, if that kid goes too far, I will still take him back to the Holy Land and imprison him. Ruyan said lightly, but with strong confidence. After all, she is the true immortal realm elder of the Luoyue Holy Land. While the 2 were talking, Ye Chen also put on a faint smile and said to the 2 acting sect masters, don't delay time, your goal has been achieved. That everyone still didn't understand what he meant. What does the goal has been achieved mean? Could he have seen through the intentions of the 2 acting sect masters? Before everyone could figure out what was going on, in the deepest part of the Tiangang Dao sect, 2 terrifying auras suddenly rose into the sky, which were more terrifying than the tribulation period. Boom! That the 2 auras were so powerful that they looked like they were about to break through the sky. The incredible pressure covered the entire world, and various strange phenomena appeared. Thunder and lightning rolled in the sky, as if they were about to destroy the world. This pressure is from the true immortal realm. Are they stalling for time because they want their ancestors to break through to the true immortal realm? Elder Ruyan suddenly realized that no wonder the 2 acting sect leaders talked so much nonsense and even gave Ye Chen 3 days to reflect. In fact, it's all a ploy. As long as the 2 ancestors successfully break through to the true fairyland, they can sweep everything. Wouldn't that be bad? That when Su Lingyun heard that there were 2 real immortals, she was so frightened that her face turned as white as paper, and she became even more worried about Ye Chen. That's a real wonderland. Even in the Holy Land, they are at a high level of authority. Even if you have just entered the true fairyland, it is a huge transformation. Sure enough, 2 figures carrying shocking power rushed out from the depths of Tiangang Dao sect, with thunder accompanying their figures. Everywhere he went, it was almost astonishing and devastating. Such power far exceeds that of the Xianjian ancestor just now by countless times. Two true immortals. The 3 sect leaders hiding in the dark were completely dumbfounded at this time. They never thought that after the union of Xuanhuan sect and Tiangang Dao sect, they would have two true immortals. If we say that the ancestor of Xianjian just now belongs to the level of walking sideways, then the two true immortal ancestors have extremely high power in the entire Dongxing continent, let alone in the Luoyue realm. They don't believe that the four people from Kunlun Holy Land can return alive. It's not that they think Kunlun Holy Land is weak, but that the two true immortal ancestors are simply too strong enough to make many people despair. Chapter 33, Exceeding the Target. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ignorant child. Take your life. How dare you, an arrogant person, try to do whatever you want, that the two ancestors of the true fairy realm obviously looked like old men, but the shadows they manifested at this moment were tens of thousands of feet high. Already submerged in the clouds. Seeing that the two ancestors had successfully broken through to the true immortal realm, the acting sect masters of the two major sects were extremely excited. Finally, we have a true fairyland. My ancestor can still protect my sect for tens of thousands of years, that they were all moved to tears and cheered. In their eyes, the people in Kunlun Holy Land were no different from dead people. Ancestor, it's them. We must kill him. The three people around him are all geniuses, they can be snatched away and cultivated into puppets. How terrifying will these three puppets with peerless genius physiques grow to in the future, that they couldn't help shouting and started celebrating their victory in advance. Die, that the two ancestors of the true immortal realm didn't say anything nonsense. They raised their hands and pressed down on Ye Chen and the four of them. The two huge palms were thousands of feet wide, as if two mountains covered the entire sky. Looking up, it will only bring endless despair. Anyone who is crushed by a true fairy will completely give up hope of survival. Not to mention that now two true immortals are taking action together. There are only two words in everyone's heart: accept your fate. Elder Ruyan is already ready to rescue people at any time. There is no other way. Who made Su Lingyun say that she didn't want that boy to die? Two true immortal realms. Although it is my first time to enter the true immortal realm, it is still a bit stressful for me. Elder Ruyan said this, but he had already condensed a ball of Xuanhuan immortal chi at hand, ready to stop the attacks of the two men at the critical moment. Only Ye Chen is the most leisurely. He even had time to yawn, looking at the two true immortal ancestors who insisted on seeking death. Ye Chen had no choice but to use his fists if he couldn't reason. Big fists are the last word. A mediocre ordinary punch. Ye Chen punched the sky as if stretching. Rather than saying it was a punch, it was more like just raising his arm casually, because it really didn't look like a punch, but just such an ordinary punch caused the two huge palms that crushed down to shatter. The endless immortal power exploded, turning into a rain of light that shot out in all directions. As for the two ancestors of the true immortal realm, their eyes were wide open at this moment and they couldn't even say a word, because they didn't know when they were bleeding from all their orifices, and their eyes were full of fear, astonishment, and despair. Finally, their bodies and souls that had just become true immortals exploded and turned into pure immortal power and returned to the world. It all happened so fast that no one could react. There was only Elder Ruyan who was also in the realm of true immortals. She opened her red lips in shock and her eyes were filled with incredible color. They were both in a true fairyland, so she knew very well how terrifying those two palms were. Moreover, after reaching the realm of true immortals, the spiritual power in the body will also be converted into immortal power, and the physical body and soul will receive a huge leap. The level of life is no longer the same as before. Whether it is strength or vitality, the true immortals are tenacious. But what did she see? She saw that the boy just stretched his waist, and then two powerful true immortals exploded. Did I read that correctly? Elder Ruyan muttered to himself absent-mindedly. He didn't even notice that most of his clothes slipped off his body, exposing most of his snow-white soft balls. After several breaths, everyone gradually came to their senses, and loud screams, discussions, and shouts broke out. They originally thought that this battle would be a stretch, but they didn't expect it, so they just stretched their legs. The real immortal exploded. Nima, why is it still a bit funny when you think about it? The most devastated were the people from Guiyuan Sect and Tiangang Dao Sect. the two true immortal ancestors had placed all their hopes, but now they fell directly into despair. This battle ended too quickly, faster than those impotent men. It's over before I even feel it. Ye Chen didn't care whether these people were crying or hating himself. Anyway, he has already given the opportunity that should be given. It's because they don't cherish it. I really don't blame him. Ye Chen covered it with his backhand, and the sky seemed to collapse. A huge boundless palm directly flattened the entire Tiangang Dao sect. When he raised his hand, there was even a huge palm print left there. Everything turned into ashes. The world was so silent that it was hard to hear even the sound of breathing, because everyone was holding their breath and watching this scene that was beyond imagination, and their brains could no longer keep up. Such a big sect will be gone at the drop of a hat. That is the Tiangang Dao sect, the overlord of the Luoyue realm, and a place where many people dream of practicing. As a result, just such a slap in the face completely disappeared. No, the Guiyuan sect is also completely gone. When everyone began to come to their senses, they found that Ye Chen and others had disappeared, and they didn't know where they went. Although they disappeared, the huge shock they left behind began to spread to the Luoyue realm. The monks who witnessed all this couldn't close their mouths for several days, or they were still immersed in endless shock. This chapter is not over. Please click the next page to continue reading. Or they told the people around them what happened at that time, even if they were dry-mouthed. Damn, it's amazing. It only took one finger to kill the Shenzhen Patriarch. Do you dare to believe it? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. The Qingshu Sword sect was so scared that it has closed the mountain gate. I don't know when it will be reopened. According to my guess, it's impossible without hundreds or thousands of years. This incident has left them with such a big psychological shadow. Who dares to open the mountain gate casually? The Qingshu Sword sect has been weakened so much that it must rest and recuperate. What's this? They are already very lucky. They surrendered in advance and spent money to avoid disaster. Tiangang Dao sect and Guiyuan sect are miserable. Not to mention that people are gone, even the sects have been crushed, that when it comes to the incredible battle that day, people in Luoyue realm really won't get tired for days and nights. Even if the same thing is said over and over again countless times, they will not feel bored. For example, Ye Chen killed two true immortal ancestors with one punch, and flattened the entire Tiangang Dao sect with one palm. The more he talked about it, the more excited he became. In just a few days, Ye Chen's deed spread throughout the entire Luoyue realm, and everyone knew it. The name of Kunlun Holy Land was also completely famous in Luoyue realm. If anyone does not know Kunlun Holy Land, it can only mean that this person is too out of date and is not qualified to participate in public topics and will be excluded by everyone. The most regretful ones are those who happen to be in seclusion during that time period. They missed the most exciting thing. And Ye Chen and his friends have already returned to Kunlun Holy Land. Temporary task. Let the name of Kunlun Holy Land resound throughout Luoyue realm. Exceeded. The task rewards are as follows. Please collect them by the host. Chapter 34 Spiritual Fruits, Enlightenment Tea, and the gradually improved sect facilities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Reward, 10,000 Danyang red fruits. Reward, 10,000 dragon scale fruits. Reward, 10,000 soul infant fruits. Reward, 1,000,000 acres of red blood fairy land. After completing the mission, you will receive these 4 rewards, all of which are all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Danyang Zhugua, after taking it, can temper the spiritual power in the body. It is effective in the body refining stage and the tribulation stage. Of course, as one's cultivation level increases, the effect of taking Danyang Zhugua becomes less obvious. Dragon scale fruit can strengthen the physical body after taking it, and its scope of application is the same as Danyang Zhugua. The function of soul infant fruit is to make the soul more condensed. This is rare, because the natural and earthly treasures that can strengthen the soul are rare and difficult to find. 10,000 soul infant fruits are even more of a miracle among miracles. The last kind of red blood fairy soil is used to cultivate various heavenly materials and earthly treasures. The spiritual energy in Kunlun Holy Land is already very rich, and natural materials and earthly treasures are easy to grow. plus 1 million acres of red blood fairy soil. What else can't he grow? It's a good thing. Let's build a spiritual plant garden. It will come in handy when the Holy Land expands. Ye Chen was quite satisfied with this reward, giving it to Mu Yan and the others will also be of great help to them. There are also rewards for taking on Su Jian as a disciple. They haven't been arranged yet, so they just happen to be done together. Original Sword Palace. Now, as he took the original Sword Palace out of the system space, in a wide area of Kunlun Holy Land, there was a rumbling sound, and a huge palace appeared. The original Sword Palace contains countless swords and sword techniques. For those who practice swordsmanship, being able to enter the original Sword Palace to practice is simply an ultimate dream. Those who are destined can get a sword of their own in it, and can also obtain various sword techniques suitable for them. Compared with the so-called inheritance of Qingshu Sword Sect and a primitive Sword Palace, it is simply rubbish. After arranging the original Sword Palace, Ye Chen also arranged the Sutra Pavilion. The nature of the Sutra Pavilion is similar to that of the original Sword Palace. It stores countless techniques, and secret techniques. From all kinds of mortal-level magic tricks to emperor-level magic tricks, they have everything. This Sutra Pavilion alone is hundreds of times richer than the Kung Fu foundation of those holy places. Those holy lands have produced several immortal emperors over the endless years, leaving behind many emperor-level techniques, but it is far from comparable to the Sutra Pavilion. The Sutra Pavilion and the original Sword Palace make Kunlun Holy Land instantly become the #1 in the desolate immortal world in terms of the foundation of Kung Fu. There are also 100 true dragon elixirs. This thing is also extremely precious. With a wave of his hand, Ye Chen planted 100 true dragon elixir trees in the spiritual plant garden. The spiritual planting garden is composed of millions of acres of red blood fairy soil, which is also very suitable for planting the true dragon elixir. The true dragon elixir is shaped like a true dragon, but is very small, only as long as an arm. These real dragon elixirs already have spiritual wisdom. After arriving at the spiritual plant garden, they jumped up and down happily, and finally got into the red blood fairy soil mischievously. Who knows where they hid? Next, it's the immortal killing sword formation. When it comes to the Zhuxian sword formation, even Ye Chen's eyes can't help but become hot. Because this is not just a sword formation, it also comes with 4 swords, namely the immortal killing sword, the immortal killing sword, the immortal trapping sword, and the immortal absolute sword. The level of these 4 swords has reached the Emperor level. Ye Chen had previously obtained the Wuxia Immortal Bell, which was an imperial weapon and its power was terrifying among imperial weapons, but now, he got 4 imperial swords at once. Moreover, these 4 imperial swords can form a powerful formation. This alone makes it more precious than the Immortal Bell of No Beginning. Currently, our Kunlun Holy Land already has 5 imperial weapons, as well as the original Sword Palace and the Sutra Pavilion, but in terms of foundation, it has already surpassed those holy lands. Ye Chen was very satisfied with this. The final reward is 2 Immortal King summoning cards. He directly chose to summon. Soon, 2 figures exuding powerful aura came to Ye Chen respectfully. What surprised him was that the 2 Immortal Kings summoned this time were both women. A woman was wearing a red gown, her snow-white shoulders were exposed to the air, her skin was extremely delicate, she was not wearing shoes, and her body was floating in the air a foot above the ground. Therefore, you can see that her feet are very petite and delicate, white and smooth, and her toes are as round and crystal clear as jade stones. I am Honglian, and I have met the sect leader. Her name is Honglian, and as her name suggests, she is very eye-catching in a long red dress. Honglian bowed slightly and saluted. The 2 soft white jade balls above her almost slipped out of her skirt. The ravine was so deep that it seemed as if the air had become much hotter. Even Ye Chen's eyes couldn't help but condense when he saw it. Damn, what a stunner! However, as the invincible Immortal Emperor, his character will not sink just because he sees these beautiful scenery. Next to Honglian, there is a beautiful woman wearing a long white dress. Her whole body is as white and flawless as a transparent crystal. She has a graceful figure, and the belt around her waist just outlines her perfect slender waist, explaining what is the best full grip. Her little feet were also exposed to the air without shoes, just like works of art. He noticed that the sect master's eyes were looking at him from top to bottom, and finally stopped at his feet. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Although she blushed slightly from shyness, she still deliberately lifted the hem of her skirt up with joy, exposing all of her white and tender calves. Since the sect leader likes it, let him watch more. I, Snow Lotus, have met the sect master. That the fairy king named Xuanhuan bowed to Ye Chen delicately. With one movement, 2 balls of soft white jade almost appeared in front of Ye Chen. However, Honglian and Xuanhuan didn't care, because they felt that they were lucky to be able to be seen by the sect leader. I was born to obey the orders of my sect leader. No matter what I do, they can do any pose. Red Lotus and Snow Lotus, right? One of you will guard the original sword palace, and the other will guard the sutra pavilion. Ye Chen ordered. I obey. The 2 men bent down to answer again, and this time 4 soft white jade balls were directly exposed to Ye Chen's eyes, which were extremely beautiful. With regret and a sense of emptiness, Honglian and Xuanhuan had no choice but to retreat first. Sister, do you think the sect leader doesn't like us? Why doesn't he let us sleep with him? Xuanhuan asked doubtfully in a low voice. Honglian showed a charming smile. Since we are the sect master's people and have endless lifespan, we want to give the sect master more opportunities to sleep with us. Sister, are you too impatient? She looked narrowly at her sister Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan's little face suddenly turned red again, and she defended in a low voice, I just want to help the sect leader relieve the pressure. As the leader of a sect, he must be very angry at ordinary times, right? That the 2 of them walked and talked, but they didn't know that Ye Chen heard all their conversations clearly. He was not very angry at first, but now he is really angry. Ye Chen took a deep breath, calmed down, and called his 3 disciples, as well as Mu Lei and Li Yao. Soon, they all gathered in the hall. Master, we heard a loud noise just now. It seems that new buildings have appeared in many areas of the sect. Mu Yen asked, and everyone was also very confused. Ye Chen nodded, yes, those are the sect facilities I just created. Hearing this, several people were so shocked that their eyes widened, and they worshipped their master even more. Master is so powerful that he can actually create buildings and facilities out of thin air. Just when several people were marveling at the master's magical methods, one fruit after another appeared in front of them out of thin air, and then fell into each jade plate. These are fresh fruits just picked from Lingji garden, and they have very magical effects. There are 3 fruits in everyone's plate. Others couldn't recognize it, but Li Yao was well informed and a powerful alchemist, so he immediately recognized these 3 fruits. Is this the Danyang vermilion fruit? And the dragon scale fruit? There's even the soul infant fruit. Li Yao let out a shocked cry. He subconsciously held his head, feeling very incredible about all this. Mu Yen asked curiously, Mr. Li, these 3 fruits must be very rare, right? He knew that Mr. Li was like a walking dictionary of all kinds of elixirs and herbs, and he knew a lot of things. It must be very valuable to be able to drive such a powerful alchemist like him almost crazy, right? Li Yao took a deep breath, calmed down a little, and said with great solemnity, these 3 treasures are very rare and precious. It's very difficult to find one of these in the outside world. Every time it appears, it triggers a frenzy of looting. Because, not only are they scarce in number, but their effects are also great. Even if they are taken during the tribulation period, they can have an effect. This is the most attractive part. The more Li Yao talked, the more excited he became, so much so that his body began to tremble slightly. As far as he could see, a soul infant fruit once appeared and was sold at an auction for tens of millions of spirit stones. After leaving the auction house, the winner was very cautious, but he still couldn't avoid the robbery from all parties. In the end, not only did he lose 10 million spiritual stones, but he also lost the soul infant fruit. It was a huge loss. In the end, even a strong man in the tribulation stage couldn't help but snatch it away. There is no other way. The soul infant fruit is also very useful for those who are in the tribulation stage. Even if the strength of your soul increases even a little, the success rate of breaking through to a true immortal in the future will increase. After everyone listened to his story, they felt unbelievable. Just one soul infant fruit caused a river of blood to flow. Now, each of them has a soul infant fruit in front of them. Moreover, there are also Danyang Zhugua and Dragon Scale Fruit. If they were all placed outside, I'm afraid it would trigger a big melee, with countless casualties in the end. They all realized that what was in front of them was a huge opportunity. Sect Master, can we really eat it? Muley asked cautiously, he has the lowest status here. He is just a family member at most. He can't believe that he can enjoy such a precious spiritual fruit. Ye Chen nodded and said, you can eat what is given to you. Seeing that he had said this, several people stopped being polite, picked up the fruit and began to taste it carefully. After eating the dragon scale fruit, Gu Yingluo felt that her body was on fire, her bones, muscles, and even blood were burning. Body strength is visibly improved. In terms of physical strength alone, she is now at least comparable to those at the second and third levels of the Golden Core stage. She is only at the peak of the foundation building stage now. The first thing Mu Yen ate was the Danyang Zhugua, which had the effect of condensing spiritual energy and accelerating cultivation. He felt that the power in his body was more solid, and he blasted out with a palm, which was even more powerful. After taking the soul infant fruit, everyone felt that their minds were clearer, their souls were more condensed, and the coverage of their spiritual consciousness was also greatly expanded. 3 fruits allowed them to improve in all aspects. Mu Lei sat down on the spot and started to break through, and she quickly broke through from the 7th level of the Golden Core stage to the 8th level of the Golden Core stage. Su Jian and Gu Yingluo were about to break through again, but were temporarily suppressed by Ye Chen. During this period of time, their breakthrough speed has been very fast, especially Su Jian. It is not a good thing to keep making breakthroughs, as it can easily lead to a practitioner's empty state of mind. Therefore, Ye Chen waved and conjured up several cups of tea, suspended them in front of them, and asked them to drink them. Although I don't know what kind of tea this is, since it was given by the sect leader, it must be good. And when the fragrance of tea overflows, they feel comfortable all over, the spiritual platform is clear, and many difficult problems in practice become clear and simple. Several people drank it immediately without hesitation. Could it be enlightenment tea? After Li Yao screamed, he quickly sat cross-legged and started practicing. The remaining few people have already entered the state of enlightenment. This is the miraculous effect of enlightenment tea, which can help people realize enlightenment. Countless practice doubts were solved one by one at this time, and they benefited a lot from the collision of inspiration. This time, Ye Chen did not stop their breakthrough. As a result, Su Jian broke through from the 5th level of the foundation building stage to the 6th level of the foundation building stage. Gu Yingluo even broke through from the peak of the foundation building stage to the 2nd level of the golden elixir stage. Not to be outdone, Mu Yen broke through from the 5th level of the golden elixir stage to the 6th level of the golden elixir stage. The 3 disciples are all geniuses, and breaking through is as easy as drinking water. It is indeed the enlightenment tea. The legendary enlightenment tea. Li Yao regained consciousness and was trembling with excitement. He threw the remaining tea leaves into his mouth and chewed them carefully. He doesn't want to let go of even a little bit of residue. Enlightenment tea. Is it the legendary magical thing that can help people achieve enlightenment? Gu Yingluo was also shocked. She had seen some records in an incomplete ancient book of Jinyu Sect. She thought it was fake. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be true, and it exists in Kunlun Holy Land. Did you really drink it yourself? Many holy places are looking for the enlightenment tea tree. Unfortunately, the enlightenment tea tree is the spiritual root of heaven and earth. It has spiritual wisdom and knows how to seek good luck and avoid evil. No one can catch it. The more Li Yao talked about it, the more shocked he became. What kind of sect did he join? Although I had a high identity and status in the past, it was absolutely impossible to drink twice as much tea as enlightenment tea leaves. It's just a cup of tea, just something to quench my thirst. Ye Chen didn't feel anything about the crowd's exclamation. He usually makes tea when he has something to do and drinks whenever he wants. It is a daily behavior for him. Hearing his indifferent tone, Li Yao smiled helplessly. Sect Master, of course you don't find it strange, but for us, a cup of tea and a few fruits are already a huge opportunity. Now that several people have broken through, Ye Chen asked them to try the original Sword Palace, the Sutra Pavilion, as well as the Chaos World and the God of War Palace that they had obtained before. These infrastructures play a huge role. Let them practice well in them and make them progress faster. When Mu Yan and Ing Luo finish their training, it's time for them to continue completing their mission. Ye Chen opened the system panel, and there was a task. Elder Disciple Mu Yan recovers his dignity on it, and the progress was only 80%, I wonder what rewards the system will give after reaching 100% progress. Chapter 35 The Flow of Time is Different, Shattering the Haotian Mirror. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Chaos Realm is a black hole hanging over the Kunlun Holy Land. It sucks people into it and makes them never reincarnate. With Ye Chen's permission, Mu Yan entered the Chaos Realm. After a dizzy spell, he came to his senses and found himself in an endless void. His feet were not on the ground, but floating. The most shocking thing was that there was an almost boundless sphere in front of him, boundless and with no edge. Only at the very end could he barely catch a trace of arc and guessed that it was a huge sphere. Mu Yan was shocked. He had never seen such a vast and boundless giant. He even speculated that if this huge sphere was put into reality, would it cover the entire Changtian realm? Master's methods are all-powerful. I really don't know how he made this thing, that he no longer wasted time and used his heart to comprehend the operation of the laws in the Chaos Realm. You can clearly see with the naked eye that on the surface of the huge sphere, there are countless lines manifested by rules interweaving. Each law has its own operating rules, and there are even overlaps and intersections between them. On the surface, it is just the intersection of two lines, but in fact it represents the fusion of two different laws. This is countless times more difficult than comprehending a law alone. There are countless intersections and fusions of countless laws, which constitute everything. Mu Yan felt dizzy and almost fainted just by looking at it. Fortunately, the voice of the master came to his ears at this time. Concentrate on comprehending the laws of fire, and pretend that the rest of the laws are invisible. As the master's voice sounded, Mu Yan's mind regained clarity, and then he concentrated on comprehending the laws of fire. In front of the War God Palace, Gu Ing Luo pushed open the door, and what came into view were independent practice rooms. She looked around curiously, and then randomly selected a practice room to enter. After closing the door of the practice room, the scene in front of her changed, and she was in an endless trial field. She also knew about the rules of using the War God Palace. Can I choose my opponent? I can also freely set the opponent's level, strength, and even race. Gu Ing Luo was shocked. If that was the case, she didn't need to go down the mountain to practice fighting, she only needed to fight in the War God Palace. Moreover, after being injured or dying here, it would not be affected in reality, it is simply a perfect trial place. Then I will fight myself first. She chose herself as her opponent on a whim. When she saw a person who looked exactly like herself appear in front of her, she couldn't believe her eyes. Then, she began to attack, trying her best to use all means to defeat the virtual self, but the person who knows herself best is actually herself. The virtual Gu Ing Luo does not know pain, is not afraid of death, and is extremely clear about the various habits and moves of the original body. After hundreds of rounds, Gu Ing Luo was exhausted and panting, and was abused beyond recognition. If she hadn't adopted a strategy of both sides dying together, she wouldn't have been able to take advantage of the virtual Gu Ing Luo at all. Why is the real me not as good as the fake me? I don't accept it. Gu Ing Luo started the trial again and fought against herself. This time, her combat experience improved a lot, and she defeated the virtual Gu Ing Luo within 100 moves. In the battles again and again, Gu Ing Luo's experience increased wildly, and her super combat instinct allowed her to win continuously. After defeating the virtual Gu Ing Luo for the 5th time, she set an opponent of the 5th level of the Jindan period. To her surprise, the oppression given to her by this 5th level of the Jindan period was not even as strong as that of the virtual Gu Ing Luo. That is to say, although I am only the 2nd level of the Jindan period now, my real combat power can easily defeat the 5th level of the Jindan period. After realizing this, Gu Ing Luo was very excited. A strong man of the 5th level of the Jindan period can already serve as an outer sect elder in the Jinyu Sect. The strongest genius Jin Hao was only at the 2nd level of the Golden Core stage. Not long ago, she had no power to fight back against Jinyu at the second level of the Golden Core stage, but now, if she were to meet Jinyu again, would she be able to kill him with just one finger? Thinking of this, Guingluo tried to set the enemy to Jinyu, but she didn't expect it to work. Jinyu reappeared in front of her. Although she knew it was fake, Guingluo still had a strong desire to kill him. It was you bastard, who almost caused me and brother Mu Yen to be separated forever. Die. She easily crushed Jinyu with one finger. At the original Sword Palace, Su Jian couldn't wait to come. This is a tall palace with 9 floors. Master said that as long as you enter the Sword Palace, you will get the sword and sword tactics that suit you. Stepping into the original Sword Palace, perhaps it was the effect of his supreme sword bone, all the swords stored in the Sword Palace began to vibrate. Including the light representing the sword techniques, they were also shaking, trying to break through the restrictions and rush toward Su Jian. Faced with such a lively scene, Su Jian was also dumbfounded. With so many swords and so many sword techniques, how should he choose? Just when he was distressed, a figure in a red dress appeared. It was Honglian who was guarding the original Sword Palace. Little baby, sword arts with a too low level are not suitable for you, and you can't use the sword arts with a level that is too high for the time being. My suggestion is to choose 3 to 5 sword arts, with the best level between the king level, the saint level, and the immortal level. Suitable. Guren gave his reminder with a smile. Su Jian didn't expect that there would be elders from the sect guarding the original Sword Palace. Facing Honglian's hot figure, he quickly lowered his head and thank you, senior, for your guidance, disciple, please remember it. Later, Su Jian asked with some curiosity, senior, could he be my master's Taoist companion? For such a beautiful woman, only master in this world can be worthy of her, right? Honglian was stunned. She didn't expect this boy to have such a sweet mouth. She is quite comfortable with the word Taoist couple. He, you can think so too. Maybe one day I will really become your mistress. After saying that, Honglian decided to help him one more time. She waved to the depths of the Sword Palace, and a bright cold light burst out and fell into her hands. This sword is more than 3 feet long and has a sharp edge, like a burst of light. It is definitely a rare sword. This sword is called the Green Light Divine Sword. It is a sacred weapon. You are still weak and not suitable for holding an immortal weapon or even an imperial weapon. Just use this green light sword. Honglian handed the green light sword to Su Jian. What a sword! Thanks for the advice, senior. Su Jian looked at the Qingguang sword with joy. He was very satisfied with this sword. He can also feel the joy of this sword. After getting the green light sword, Su Jian found 4 more sword techniques, ranging from king level to saint level and immortal level. He can't chew off more than he can chew. Once he has fully understood these sword techniques, it won't be too late to practice more powerful sword techniques. One day later, the 3 disciples each left the training place and met outside the main hall. Junior brother, Ingluo, 1 year has passed. How far have you cultivated? As soon as Mu Yen saw Su Jian and Gu Ingluo, he asked happily. His ever-rising brows showed unconcealable pride, as if he had good news to tell everyone. When Gu Ingluo heard him say that they hadn't seen each other for a year, she corrected her in confusion. Brother Mu Yen, did you remember it wrong? How come a year has passed? It must have been half a year, right? Junior brother Su Jian, do you think it's half a year? Gu Ingluo looked at Su Jian and asked him to confirm. The most confused person was Su Jian. He remembered clearly that it had only been 1 day in the original Sword Palace to select sword techniques. Why did his senior brother say 1 year and his senior sister say half a year? Su Jian smiled helplessly. Senior brother, senior sister, are you afraid that you have become dizzy from practicing? It's only been a day. As soon as these words came out, Mu Yen and Gu Ingluo became even more confused. Why don't the 3 of them match up at the same time? Who among them remembered it wrong? Just when they were still about to argue, Ye Chen asked them to come to the main hall. Entering the main hall, Mu Yen couldn't help but ask Ye Chen, Master, this disciple has been practicing in the world of chaos for a year, how come he can't keep up with the time of his junior brothers and sisters? Yes, Master, it is only right that the disciple has stayed in the God of War Palace for half a year. Guang Luo also felt that she didn't quite understand, only Su Jian opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but in the end he spread his hands helplessly and chose to shut up. Ye Chen explained, the time flow rate in the original Sword Palace is normal, so it is 1 day. The speed of time in the world of chaos is different. You have been cultivating there for a year, but only 1 day has passed in the outside world. The same applies to the God of War Palace. You think you have been practicing for half a year, but in fact, only 1 day has passed in the outside world. After listening to Ye Chen's explanation, the three of them suddenly understood and marveled at the master's methods again. Can you even control the flow of time? This is simply unheard of. In this way, they can practice crazily in the Chaos Realm or the God of War Palace. Anyway, reality has only passed for a few days at most. With these two cultivation holy places, are you still afraid of being weaker than others? Hey! I'll just say it, Su Jian smiled proudly. Mu Yan, Ingluo, you are going down the mountain to do something related to the Jinyu Sect. Ye Chen said to the two of them, as soon as they heard that it was the Jinyu Sect, a hint of evil appeared between their eyebrows. They didn't have any good impressions of this sect, and their lives were almost ruined by this sect. After having the experience of crushing the three major sects with their master in the Falling Moon Realm, they no longer look down upon the small Golden Jade sect. The leader of the Jinyu sect has also cultivated in the void refining stage. The disciples will implement the concept of Kunlun Holy Land. Reason with the Jinyu sect, Mu Yen said with a crooked smile. You go to the Gu family first. After all, it is Ingluo's family, and you cannot turn a blind eye as a teacher. Also, your cultivation alone is not enough for this time down the mountain. I will give you some means of self-protection, use them as you need. While talking, Ye Chen handed each of them 50 small stones. The two of them looked at the stone in their hands, and did not feel that the master was perfunctory because it was just a stone. To them, everything the master gives and every word he says has a reason. He said that if a stone can protect them, it will. Go. Ye Chen raised his hand and created a void passage, allowing Mu Yan and Gu Ingluo to walk in. Watching the void passage slowly close again, Su Jian was very envious. Master, what kind of magic formula is this? Can I learn it? Ye Chen glanced at him and laughed softly. This is not a magic formula, but a small trick that you will automatically learn when you reach the realm. You will be able to master it when you reach the true fairyland. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content below. Gulp. Su Jian swallowed hard. True fairyland. That's too far away, right? He is just a scumbag in the foundation building period now. In fact, he didn't know that Ye Chen had another sentence he didn't tell him, that is, to reach this level, at least you have to be in the Fairy King realm. After sending Mu Yan and Gu Ingluo away, Ye Chen suddenly felt something in his heart and realized that someone was actually calculating him. Dare to calculate my origin? Aren't you afraid that you will bear the consequences of a huge cause and effect? Ye Chen sneered disdainfully and didn't care about this little thing. The person who calculated his identity was the Falling Moon Holy Land far away in the Falling Moon Realm. After Ye Chen swept across the three major sects and even suppressed Guiyuan Sect and Tiangang Dao Sect, Luoyue Realm was discussing Kunlun Holy Land all the time. People in Luoyue Holy Land naturally had to find out Ye Chen's origins. In a hall in Luoyue Holy Land, several inner sect elders of the true immortal realm gathered together and were using a huge mirror to calculate Ye Chen's identity. The other party can kill two true immortal realms with one slap. Can we really calculate his identity? Why not report to the Holy Lord and let the Holy Lord take action? Elder Rian thought of the horror when Ye Chen took action that day, and she was still frightened. The true immortal realm elder said confidently, we are several true immortal realms here, plus the Haotian Mirror, how can we not calculate it? Several inner sect elders who were also true immortal realms next to him all agreed very much. They were very confident in their own strength, and the Haotian Mirror was an immortal level weapon, and it was also a replica of a certain imperial weapon in the Holy Land. If they couldn't calculate the other party's true origins, then they could die. Stop talking, let's get started. Several true Immortal Realm elders took action together and poured their immortal power into the Haotian Mirror. The majestic immortal power made the Haotian Mirror light up, and the mirror surface was rippling like water waves, and a very vague figure gradually appeared. Seeing that this move really worked, Ruyan also felt morale boosted and increased the infusion of immortal power, as the figure in the mirror became clearer and clearer, and even when she was about to see the back, a cold snort came from the mirror. Humph! With this cold snort, the immortal weapon Haotian Mirror actually shattered with a click. Elder Ruyan and several others suffered a strong backlash, and everyone vomited blood and flew backwards, and their breath became weak. Cough cough. Elder Ruyan struggled to support her body with her hands, her heart was full of fear. That voice is very similar to that person, that she said with horror after coughing up a large mouthful of blood. Wasn't that cold snort from the man who flattened the entire Tiangang Dao sect with one palm? He could actually injure so many true Immortal Realm strongmen through the immortal artifact Haotian Mirror. Moreover, even the Haotian Mirror was destroyed. Horrible. Too terrible. An inner sect elder with blood all over his face also regretted that they really overestimated their own abilities. Report to the Holy Lord and let the Holy Lord make the decision himself. Then, everyone made a decision while adjusting their breath and recovering. This matter is no longer something they can control. Chapter 36, Capturing the Lord of the Holy Land, Immortal Siming takes action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the Saint Lord of the Falling Moon knew about this, she was very surprised. Who could actually hurt so many true immortals through the Haotian Mirror? Moreover, the Haotian Mirror is a very important immortal weapon in the Falling Moon Holy Land. Now that it has been shattered into pieces, she has to get back some ground. The Saint Lord of the Falling Moon is a woman, dressed in gorgeous clothes, elegant and noble, and her aura is as vast as the sea, unpredictable. According to what you said, that person's strength is at least in the heavenly immortal realm. A mere heavenly immortal realm dares to go against our Falling Moon Holy Land. The Saint Lord of the Falling Moon was a little angry, and the soft flesh on her body was trembling slightly, especially the two balls of snow-white soft jade, which trembled continuously with her waving. A wisp of powerful aura was released from her body. As a Saint Lord, her strength has reached the Xianxian realm. True Immortal, Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal, Xianxian, Immortal Lord, Immortal King, Immortal Emperor. A mere heavenly immortal realm powerhouse is really not qualified to challenge her. The Falling Moon Saint Lord gently swiped his jade hand in the air, and a mirror like lake water appeared. As the mirror surface fluctuated, it gradually returned to calm, and the figure just now reappeared. Elder Ruyan and the others were nervous and expectant. They had just experienced the horror of that person, but this time the Saint Lord personally took action, so it should be okay, right? The Falling Moon Saint Lord was full of confidence, and continued to cast spells to make the figure in the mirror clearer, but just when she thought she could control Ye Chen at will, the blurred figure in the mirror suddenly stretched out her hand. This hand actually crossed the barrier of time and space and stretched out from the mirror. The sudden change made the Falling Moon Saint Lord scream in horror. The other party actually knew that he was investigating his origins. Even through the secret method he cast, he could stretch out his hand. In the horrified eyes of Elder Ruyan and the others, this hand directly grabbed the Falling Moon Saint Lord's neck and dragged him into the mirror. During the whole process, the Saint Lord of the Falling Moon, who was a Xianxian strongman, had no power to resist. When Elder Ruyan and the others came to their senses, the Saint Lord of the Falling Moon had disappeared on the spot, and even his breath was gone. This matter alarmed all the high-level officials of the Falling Moon Holy Land. A Saint Lord was kidnapped. This is a shocking event. It might have a huge impact on the Falling Moon Holy Land. So, many masters came one after another, wanting to find some clues and rescue the Saint Lord, but no matter what means they used to investigate, they could not capture any cause and effect, and there was no trace. The Saint Lord seemed to have disappeared out of thin air. What happened? The Saint Lord is a super master at the peak of the Xianxian. How could he be kidnapped? Moreover, he was kidnapped in the Holy Land, / This is a major provocation to our Falling Moon Holy Land. We must find the person. / The most urgent task is to find the location of the Saint Lord first. That the bigwigs in the Holy Land were extremely angry, but they could do nothing. They have used all methods, but still can't find the location of the falling moon saint. Should we invite Simon Immortal Lord? That at this time, someone made a suggestion. Everyone fell silent, and didn't dare to respond easily, because most of the immortals were in retreat. Simon Immortal Lord has been in retreat for tens of thousands of years and has not come out yet. Who is willing to wake him up? However, if you want to calculate and deduce, Simon Immortal Lord is indeed the best in the entire Falling Moon Holy Land. If Simon Immortal Lord is here, the location of the Saint Lord can definitely be found. Just when many true immortals, earth immortals, heavenly immortals, and mysterious immortals were hesitating, a clear voice came from above. This Immortal Lord already knows the cause and effect. The Saint Lord was taken away by an unknown strong man. It is a great shame for our Holy Land, that the person who spoke was dressed in a green robe, with a white and handsome face, a noble temperament, and a slender figure. He looked only about 30 years old. In fact, he has lived for endless years, and age has long been lost to him. It's the Immortal Lord Simon. The Immortal Lord Simon has come out of retreat. Great, with the Immortal Lord Simon here, we can definitely figure out the identity of the Holy Lord. Then we will let the enemy know what despair is. After seeing the Immortal Lord Simon, many top masters were very excited and happy. In the eyes of everyone's expectation, the Immortal Lord Simon took out his own magic weapon, a palm-sized compass. The small compass began to grow larger, and finally stopped after it became 10 feet in size. The Immortal Lord Simon poured his immortal power into it, causing the compass to emit light regardless of anything, and many strange runes also flew out of the compass, as if looking for some kind of cause and effect between heaven and earth. Time passed bit by bit. Unconsciously, everyone was a little impatient waiting. The Immortal Lord Simon frowned even more at this time, because he could not find any traces between heaven and earth, without the slightest cause and effect. It was as if the Holy Lord Luoyue had never existed. Impossible. That the Immortal Lord Simon shook his head subconsciously. Even if a person dies, his cause and effect still exist, and there will be various traces left between heaven and earth. However, he could not find any traces of the Saint Lord of Falling Moon, nor any clues about the arm. After calculating for a long time, Immortal Simon became anxious and lost the calmness he had when he first appeared. The people watching around became even more anxious. This chapter is not over. Please click on the next page to continue reading. Everyone felt a strong sense of powerlessness. Even Immortal Simon couldn't figure it out, so how could he find it? Later, Immortal Simon made calculations based on clues such as Su Jian and Kunlun Holy Land, but still found nothing. Obviously, there is a peerless master who has erased all the lines of cause and effect. Thinking of this, Immortal Simon quickly put away his compass, and his face turned even pale. That person has cut off all the lines of cause and effect and doesn't want to be found by us. You know, I can't even cut off the cause and effect so perfectly, or hide the cause and effect. That person's strength has reached all the heavens and the earth. There's nothing I can do. Immortal Lord Simon was very depressed. All the methods he was proud of have failed. It was also a huge blow to him. Everyone was shocked. Even Immortal Simon said this. So how terrifying is the opponent's strength? Could it be the Supreme Immortal Emperor? If it was really the Immortal Emperor, there would be nothing they could do. Because only the Immortal Emperor can fight against the Immortal Emperor. The Immortal Emperors of Luoyue Holy Land had left the desolate immortal world thousands of years ago and traveled to who knows where. There is no way for him to take action. For a moment, everyone was helpless. Elder Rian bravely suggested, seniors and juniors think that they can search in the stupidest way. Since they have flaunted the banner of Kunlun Holy Land with great fanfare, it means that this sect must exist somewhere in the world of Huangxian. We mobilize various connections and one day we will be able to find the true address of the Kunlun Holy Land. Rian's suggestion is very simple and not very efficient. After hearing this, the senior officials of Luoyue Holy Land thought it was a good idea. This is the only best way at the moment. Ever since, Luoyue Holy Land began to mobilize its disciples and connections to search for the location of Kunlun Holy Land on a large scale. At the Kunlun Holy Land, Holy Lord Luoyue was horrified because she felt that all the immortal power in her body had been restrained. Now I am just a mortal. And in front of him was a strange young man. Who are you anyway? Holy Lord Luoyue asked coldly. Ye Chen showed a cold smile. He was already a prisoner, how dare he be so arrogant? He is truly worthy of being the Holy Lord of a holy land. Isn't this the Lord of Kunlun Holy Land? Do you think that after a long time, you will not recognize me when you see me? Ye Chen's smile was slightly sarcastic, and at the same time, his eyes looked up and down her hot figure without concealment. Such a direct and domineering gaze made Holy Lord Luoyue extremely uncomfortable. As the Lord of the Holy Land, she was powerful and held a high position. No one had ever dared to look at her with such aggressive eyes. He is the first. Don't look, Holy Lord Luoyue warned angrily. Hearing her words, Ye Chen laughed. You stinky woman don't know your situation, do you? Do you dare to cry loudly? Crack! Ye Chen mercilessly slapped her in the face with a big backhand. Fortunately, he didn't have murderous intentions, otherwise, this slap would have knocked her out of her mind. Holy Lord Luoyue was stunned by this palm. The burning pain on her cheek made her feel so wrong that she wanted to shed tears. It wasn't that she wasn't strong enough, but that she had forgotten how many years she had not felt the real pain of a mortal. The slap made her feel like the little girl with low cultivation level she had been many years ago. Woo! Holy Lord Luoyue covered his swollen pink face, feeling so aggrieved that he wanted to cry. I am short of a maid who can serve tea and water. You will serve me. When one day I am happy, I will let you recover your cultivation. Ye Chen smiled lightly. I had no choice but to fall into his hands, without even a chance to stand up. The dignified holy master could only help others bring tea and water. Wouldn't it make people laugh out loud if it spread? When one day she regains her strength and freedom, she must lead the attack on Luoyue Holy Land and let this evil man know his regrets. On the other side, the Xuanhuan realm, the Gu family. The situation of the Gu family is not optimistic recently. Since the death of Jin Hao of Jinyu Sect has often come to investigate, because Gu Yingluo has also disappeared, and Jin Hao's murder may be related to Gu Yingluo. But today, the Jinyu Sect was too lazy to investigate anymore and sent out Jin Xian to kill all the members of the family to avenge Jin Hao. Jin Xian is the most talented disciple in Jinyu Sect besides Jin Hao. He is also at the second level of the Golden Core stage, and in terms of strength, he is not inferior to Jin Hao. However, Jin Hao is the son of the sect master, so his status has always been on his head. Now that Jin Hao is dead, it is finally Jin Xian's turn to enjoy all the halo. A good death. I also want to thank the murderer for helping me kill my biggest competitor. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get ahead. Jin Xian felt secretly happy. However, it still cannot be revealed on the surface. If others see that he is happy, it will definitely anger the sect leader Jin Ruetian. During this period, the sect master Jin Ruetian was like a mad beast. No one dared to approach him easily, not even him. Putting away his little thoughts, Jin Xian looked at the Gu family below, which was heavily protected by the formation, and was a little impatient. Master Chen, Master Mo, have you not eaten? Why don't you quickly break the protective formation? Jin Xian coldly scolded the two middle-aged men around him. The Chen family and the Mo family are both families similar to the Gu family. The strength of the two family heads has reached the nascent soul stage, but in front of Jin Xian, who is only in the second level of the Golden Core realm, they are as obedient as children. They will do whatever Jin Xian says. They are not afraid of Jin Xian, but Jin Xian represents the will of the Jinyu Sect behind him. They can only cooperate obediently. Similarly, they also have their own selfishness, that is, after the Gu family is gone, they can annex all the resources of the Gu family. However, the Gu family's protective formation is too strong. They have been attacking for 2 days and have not broken it yet. Don't worry, Master Jin Xian, we will definitely be able to break it today. The head of the Mo family sneered and ordered the people of the Mo family to continue attacking the Gu family. Under the joint efforts of the Mo family and the Chen family, no matter how strong the Gu family's protective formation was, it finally couldn't hold on at this time and began to become shaky. In the Gu family, The head of the Gu family saw that the formation could not hold on for much longer, and his expression became resolute. Gu family boys, this time we are in a great disaster, it seems that we can't escape, the only way is to kill the enemy. That the head of the Gu family also knew that the family would definitely encounter a great disaster today. Under the joint efforts of the Mo family and the Chen family, they could only grit their teeth and persevere. However, there is still a Ye Chen. This is the source of the Gu family's despair. How could the small Gu family be compared with the huge Jinyu Sect? They can make the Gu family disappear with just a little trick. It's a pity, I don't know whether Ying Luo is dead or alive, I hope she is okay. At the last moment of his life, he thought of his precious daughter. At this time, there was a loud bang above the head, and the solid protective formation finally collapsed completely. The masters of the Mo family and the Chen family rushed in. Kill! The face of the head of the Gu family was instantly full of murderous intent, and he raised the long knife in his hand and killed the two families. Old Gu, your opponent is us. The heads of the Chen and Mo families naturally would not let him kill their family members. After laughing, they confronted the head of the Gu family. The sudden outbreak of the battle was extremely cruel, and many people died. The Gu family burst out with incredible murderous intent. With their desperate fighting style, they actually withstood the crazy attacks of the two families. Just as the two sides were fighting to the death, a void channel opened in the sky, and a young man and woman walked out of it. It was Mu Yan and Gu Luo. Seeing that her family had suffered such a disaster, Gu Luo shouted anxiously, "Dad!" This sudden shouting caught the attention of both sides who were fighting to the death. Ye Chen turned his head and smiled happily. Isn't this his former dream goddess, Gu Luo? She actually appeared. He. Chapter 37 Secret Move, Emperor Fire Lotus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Luo is very famous in Jinyu Sect. Because, besides her extremely high talent, she is also very beautiful. Many fellow disciples and even elders have ideas about her, among them is Ye Chen. The first time Ye Chen saw Gu Luo, he wanted to get her like crazy. Unfortunately, before he could make a move, Jin Hao, that bastard, got there first. In this way, he could only bury his possessiveness in his heart and dare not show it at all, otherwise he would be hit by Jin Hao. Now, even Gu Luo is his. Stop! Ye Chen ordered loudly. The people of the Chen family and the Mo family immediately separated and stopped fighting. Junior sister Ying Luo, the sect master has been looking for you so hard. So you are here. Come back with me, I can guarantee that you will be fine. Ye Chen's greedy eyes swept over Gu Luo's curvy figure, sensing the other party's disgusting eyes. Gu Luo issued a murderous warning. Ye Chen, if you look at me again, I will dig your eyes out. Ha, junior sister Ying Luo really loves to joke. I am in the second level of the Golden Core realm. If you can dig it out, you can do it. Ye Chen laughed as if he heard a funny joke. He knew very well that Gu Luo's strength was only the foundation establishment stage, which was far from the Golden Core stage, so, her threat not only had no effect on him, but also seemed so innocent and cute. Junior sister Ying Luo, I still say the same thing, follow me, I will find a way to prove your innocence, and you will just accompany me obediently in the future, and occasionally help me cool down. Ye Chen laughed extremely obscenely. It is actually very simple to prove Gu Luo's innocence, just make a good confession and say that Jin Hao was killed by someone else and she survived by luck, that's it. Now, it depends on whether Gu Luo is willing. When the head of the Gu family saw that his daughter had returned safely, with Mu Yan by her side, he was relieved and nervous at the same time. He asked her to leave quickly. Ying Luo. Go quickly. Don't come back. Mu Yan, take her away quickly. Don't let her be in danger. The head of the Gu family's eyes were red. He knew that after today, it was very likely that they would be separated forever and he would never see his daughter again, but as long as his daughter was safe, he would die with his eyes closed. In fact, he regretted bringing Ying Luo and Jin Hao together. At the beginning, it was not him who wanted to bring Ying Luo and Jin Hao together. It was strongly suggested by some elders in the family, He felt that his daughter's happiness should be left to her to decide, but now it's no use to regret it. People have come to the door. Gu Yingluo smiled and comforted, "Dad, don't worry, my brother Mu Yen and I came back to solve the Jinyu Sect." That everyone present was stunned when they heard her say this, wondering if she was mentally ill and could say such stupid and naive words. Jin Xian laughed so hard that he fell backwards. "Ha ha ha, solve the Jinyu Sect. Junior sister, when did you learn this joke? Don't you know how powerful the Jinyu Sect is? Just by talking, you want to solve the Jinyu Sect. Junior sister, you are so naive and cute." Jin Xian did not hide his ridicule. A little girl in the foundation building period said such an exaggerated thing. What else could it be except a joke? The people of the Chen family and the Mo family also laughed, and the laughter was loud. "Ha ha ha, the little girl is too ignorant of the world. She can actually say such funny things. Solve the Jinyu Sect. Or be solved by the Jinyu Sect. Can you make it clear first?" She must be too desperate to make her head faint, otherwise how could she say such nonsense, //. The people around laughed loudly and mercilessly. Only Gu Yingluo and Mu Yen had a calm expression. "Yingluo, leave that disgusting thing to me, I can't stand it." Mu Yen said to Yingluo. He wanted to kill Jin Xian, a wretched man, and even gouge out Jin Xian's eyeballs to relieve his hatred. Unexpectedly, Yingluo said she would solve it herself. "Brother Mu Yen, let me do it. I won't be willing to kill this disgusting thing without my own hands." Hearing her say this, Mu Yen had to agree to her. Jin Xian naturally heard their conversation. Seeing that they were actually discussing who would deal with him, Jin Xian laughed silly. "Ha ha ha, junior sister Yingluo. You said you want to kill me. I'm so scared. Why don't you try to kill me now?" Jin Xian laughed sarcastically. Gu Yingluo couldn't bear it anymore, and immediately launched an attack and killed Jin Xian. "Yingluo!" The head of the Gu family shouted worriedly. He knew his daughter's strength too well. She was only in the foundation building stage. How could she be Jin Xian's opponent? Yingluo would definitely lose miserably after just one encounter. Unfortunately, both the Chen family master and the Mo family master were staring at him, and he had no way to save her. "Ha ha ha, you're just in time. Let me caress you." Jin Xian was surprised to see that Gu Yingluo dared to kill him. In his opinion, Gu Yingluo's behavior was no different from throwing herself into his arms. Xuanhuan, facing Gu Yingluo's attack, Jin Xian used a king-level palm technique. He had already cultivated the king-level Xuanhuan to a very high level, and using it to deal with Gu Yingluo was simply a butcher knife to kill a chicken. What a powerful palm technique. The level is definitely not low. This chapter has not ended yet. Please click the next page to continue reading. The head of the Mo family exclaimed. At least it is a king-level palm technique. Is this the foundation of the Jinyu Sect? It is really too profound, right? The head of the Chen family also saw the extraordinariness of the Xuanhuan. The strongest spell in his family was not as powerful as the Xuanhuan. This girl is really crazy. She still wants to fight with such a huge difference in strength. This is called delivering to the door and throwing herself into the arms. She should think that Master Jin Xian will not kill her, so she dares to do whatever she wants. Everyone present laughed and talked, completely treating Gu Yingluo's behavior as a little girl's mischief. However, after Gu Yingluo approached Jin Xian, her strength of the second level of the Jindan period suddenly broke out. Such a powerful aura immediately changed the faces of those who were still laughing just now. What? She has reached the second level of the Golden Core stage. Isn't she in the Foundation Establishment stage? What's going on? Such a strong aura, is this her confidence? Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that Gu Yingluo, who was still in the Foundation Establishment stage before, had become the second level of the Golden Core stage in such a short time. Gu Yingluo blasted out with one palm. The terrifying power destroyed the Xuanhuan like a tidal wave, and the remaining power was all blasted on Jin Xian's chest. Jin Xian's body was thrown out fiercely, and then he smashed the ground heavily to create a big pit. Everyone fell silent instantly, and everyone couldn't believe their eyes. Guang Luo actually defeated Jin Xian with one palm. No, Jin Xian is dead. He has no breath. At this time, the head of the Mo family keenly noticed that Jin Xian no longer had any breath, and it was obvious that he died miserably. Wow! Finally, the whole audience was boiling. Countless people made shocked noises. A pair of eyes full of disbelief were focused on Guang Luo, as if they still couldn't believe that this was what Guang Luo could do. After all, Jin Xian was a genius disciple of the Jinyu Sect, very powerful, and practiced a king-level technique. Among the masters of the same realm, few were his opponents. But such a powerful genius was killed by Guang Luo with a palm. Even Jin Xian himself didn't expect that he would die so easily until his death. Unfortunately, he is now dead and can't even regret it. Did she hide her strength before? The pupils of the head of the Mo family suddenly contracted, feeling incredible. What kind of palm technique was that just now? The king-level Xuanhuan palm was broken without even a chance to resist. The head of the Chen family gasped in shock. He was not shocked by Guang Luo's skyrocketing strength, but by the seemingly ordinary, but actually powerful palm. On the Gu family side, Guang Luo, who was originally thought to be dead, killed Jin Xian with a palm, and everyone fell into silence. Is this really the Guang Luo they know? Ing Luo. The head of the Gu family muttered to himself in a daze. After a brief moment of distraction, the head of the Gu family finally showed a relieved and proud smile. This is his daughter is stronger than anyone else. Don't even think about having an easy time, both of you. While everyone was still immersed in shock, Mu Yan used the Emperor's divine flame to attack the people of the Chen and Mo families. The Emperor's divine flame is the most powerful and masculine flame in the world, with unparalleled power. Once you get a little bit of it, you can't get rid of it. Soon, most of the Chen and Mo families fell into the raging sea of fire. Boy, you are looking for death. The head of the Chen family was so angry that his teeth were about to break. These were all the elites of his Chen family. If most of them were killed or injured, the power of the Chen family would plummet. He rushed towards Mu Yan, and his power at the nascent soul level completely burst out, wanting to kill Mu Yan. Feeling a terrifying force locking onto him, Mu Yan was not afraid, but excited. Nascent soul. It's just right for me to test the new tricks I learned from the Chaos Realm. Mu Yan raised his hand and shot out a large golden Heavenly Emperor divine flame, which turned into a large sea of fire and blasted together with the Chen family master. The terrifying flames and extreme heat waves made the Chen family master, who was in the nascent soul stage, feel very tricky. He had never encountered such a strange and powerful flame. Broken wave fist, the Chen family master punched out, and his spiritual power rushed towards the Heavenly Emperor divine flame like a rolling wave, trying to sweep it away, but what he didn't expect was that the golden flame was not only not swept away, but became even more vigorous. What's going on? What kind of flame is this? The Chen family master was anxious, he was anxious. Is this the strength of the nascent soul level? It doesn't seem that great. Mu Yan curled his lips, and then began to condense the Heavenly Emperor's divine flame with a unique method. After continuous compression, the flame turned into an exquisite and beautiful golden lotus. It really works. Feeling the terrifying destructive power in the golden lotus, Mu Yan laughed happily. This is the unique trick he realized after realizing the law of fire in the Chaos Realm. He named it Heavenly Emperor Fire Lotus. Go! Mu Yan threw the Heavenly Emperor Fire Lotus in the direction of Family Master Chen. The palm-sized golden fire lotus left a bright trail in the sky, like a bright meteor. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. This thing looks beautiful, but is actually extremely terrifying. Family leader Chen suddenly felt that an extremely powerful force was rushing towards him. He took a closer look and saw that it was a small golden fire lotus. Oops, the destructive power emanating from it makes his hair stand on end even as a nascent soul master. Once he is hit head-on by this golden fire lotus, he will be in great danger. He quickly threw out a small shield. This shield swelled in the wind, and in the blink of an eye it became dozens of feet tall. just like a small hill. The moment the shield was formed, the Heavenly Emperor Fire Lotus struck hard on it with its bright tail. Boom! That the deafening sound spread across the sky, and even the clouds were shaken away. The flames erupted from the Fire Lotus also spread in all directions, turning into a sea of fire. The shield that was hit from the front was blown to pieces at this moment, and it was completely useless. The head of the Chen family also suffered severe burns on a large area of his chest, and half of his body was charred. Ahem, this trick of yours. Patriarch Chen's eyes were wide open. He couldn't believe that he had been seriously injured by a junior at the Golden Core stage. If there was no shield to block him, he even doubted that he would really die from the Fire Lotus attack. Although he has survived now, his combat effectiveness has been reduced too much, and he has no chance to continue fighting. Are my moves okay? Want to learn? I don't want to teach you. Mu Yen laughed teasingly. He was very satisfied with the power of the Heavenly Emperor Fire Lotus. After all, it is the first secret method that I created. Old Chen, Patriarch Mo and Patriarch Gu were fighting together. When the Heavenly Emperor Fire Lotus erupted, he and Patriarch Gu quickly separated and saw this miserable scene. Patriarch Gu couldn't believe that the former useless man could almost kill a nascent soul master. You fucking call this a loser? Old Mo, do you still want to fight? I think it's no longer necessary, right? Patriarch Gu looked at the stunned Patriarch Mo and asked sarcastically. Patriarch Mo smiled sadly and gave up completely. We lost. That what was originally a good situation turned around because of the appearance of two young people. First, Jin Xian was killed. The head of the Chen family was hit hard again. Is this battle still necessary? There is only one thing he wants to know most right now, and that is what happened to the two young men, Mu Yan and Gu Yingluo, during this period of time. How come they were completely transformed? Old Gu, you should understand that you won today, but can you defeat the Jinyu Sect? That is your real enemy, Patriarch Mo said meaningfully. Chapter 38, Break into Jinyu Sect and Convince Them with Reason. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing what he said, Patriarch Gu's joyful mood immediately sank again. The Jinyu Sect is an invincible behemoth. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Their crisis today has been resolved, but the biggest crisis has not yet been resolved. This is a sword hanging above their heads, it will fall down at any time and take their lives. Humph, so what? When the Jinyu Sect learns the news here, my Gu family has been transferred. If I can't afford to offend, why can't I hide? The head of the Gu family said, holding his neck. You can't beat me anyway, so why don't you go to the head office? He didn't believe that the Jinyu Sect was so powerful and could still find them. Father, Gu Yingluo brought Mu Yan to the head of the Gu family. Good daughter. Good son-in-law. Thanks to you today, Patriarch Gu was moved and pleased, but at the same time, he felt even more guilty. Dad, when we come back today, in addition to saving the family, we also have to eradicate the entire Jinyu Sect, Gu Yingluo said seriously. Patriarch Gu quickly tested the temperature of her forehead with the back of his hand, wanting to see if she had burned out her brain. Why are you still talking nonsense at this time? Daughter, the Jinyu Sect is unstoppable. We are just trying to attack a stone with an egg. It is best to run away at this moment. The head of the Gu family taught him earnestly, although he didn't know how the two young people had such strong strength and confidence, but he felt that it was easy for people to misunderstand the huge power they suddenly gained. For example, now, Gu Yingluo can kill Jin Xian with one palm, and Mu Yan can defeat Yuanying, so what? In the Jinyu Sect, there are more golden elixirs, nascent souls, and many transformed gods, and its sect leader Jin Ruetian is an invincible master of the void refining stage. How can these two little kids compare to others? It's just the Jinyu Sect. Isn't it very powerful? Mu Yan said nonchalantly. If it were before, he would have felt that the Jinyu Sect was an unattainable behemoth and impossible to defeat, but after following Master, his pattern has been enlarged countless times. Although it is said that those achievements all belong to the Master, but under the influence of his ears and eyes, he really feels that the Jinyu Sect is nothing more than that. However, when his words fell in the ears of Patriarch Gu, he frowned in displeasure. Son-in-law, this mentality is not good. Just listen to me and pack up your things and run away. We can make a comeback in the future. Patriarch Gu patiently persuaded them. These two children's self-confidence is so high now that they don't even know how high the sky is. Seeing that her father was always trying to escape, Gu Yingluo grabbed his arm helplessly and explained, Dad, just believe us. Can our Kunlun Holy Land be weaker than the Jinyu Sect? Not far away, Patriarch Imo interrupted awkwardly, Niece, I'm not talking about you, I've never heard of the uncle of Kunlun Holy Land. Gu Yingluo glared at him fiercely, and Patriarch Imo quickly closed his mouth. She also wanted to explain to her father the power of Kunlun Holy Land, but at this moment, a terrifying pressure came down from the sky. An angry voice resounded throughout the world. You damn things, you actually killed Ye Chen. Die for me. An old man's figure flew over quickly, and at the same time he struck out a palm, turning into a mountain-like spiritual palm and crushing everyone. It's the divine transformation stage. Patriarch Gu's expression suddenly changed. Why did a master of the transformation god stage come here? Patriarch Mo was also shocked. The master of transformation who suddenly appeared did not distinguish between you and me. He raised his hand and struck. Did he mean to kill everyone? Emperor Fire Lotus, with quick eyes and quick hands, Mu Yen immediately condensed a golden heavenly Emperor Fire Lotus and threw it out. Patriarch Gu and Patriarch Mo also took action to stop this giant spiritual palm. Boom! The attacks of several people landed on the giant spiritual palm, and the strong force exploded directly. Especially the power of the heavenly Emperor Fire Lotus was the most powerful, and it blasted away most of the giant spiritual palm. It is precisely because of this that they are barely okay. So strong, that everyone looked at Mu Yen in shock. If one of his Fire Lotus hadn't been thrown out to offset most of the power, Patriarch Gu and Patriarch Mo alone have no way to withstand the power of this palm. Snort. Seeing that his attack was actually neutralized, the master of the god transformation stage looked very ugly. For him, this is a shame. What made him even more furious was that during his negligence, Ye Chen was actually killed. He came with Ye Chen and was responsible for protecting Ye Chen's safety. It was also because of Jin Hao's lessons that the Jinyu Sect changed the protector to the god transformation stage. He originally thought that attacking the Gu family was a simple matter and did not require him to worry about it at all. Anyway, Ye Chen won't be in any danger here. So, he went to a brothel to have fun. But who would have thought that as soon as he trembled on the brothel Oiran's body, Ye Chen would be dead. If the sect leader knew that Ye Chen's death was caused by his neglect of duty, then he would definitely die too. The death of Jin Hao not long ago has made the sect furious. Now that even Ye Chen is dead, the sect leader will definitely kill a group of people to vent his anger. The old man's eyes were filled with murderous intent, and he wished he could kill everyone here right now. Spiritualization stage. Everyone was under pressure. If they still had the strength to fight against a nascent soul stage master, then they really had no chance against a spiritualization stage master. It's over. We can't run away now. The face of the head of the Gu family was extremely gloomy. Gu Yingluo and Mu Yen looked calm. They also knew that they were definitely not opponents of a spiritualization stage master. They couldn't win if they fought head-on, but they were still very calm, because the master said that if they encountered a crisis, the small stones given to them would be of great use. Yingluo, leave it to me. Mu Yen had an extra stone in his palm, protecting Gu Yingluo. Then, he spread his palm and revealed this thumb-sized stone. When everyone saw this ordinary stone, they didn't know what he wanted to do. Could it be that he wanted to defeat a spiritualization stage master with this small stone that was everywhere on the ground? It was simply a fantasy. The old man who had reached the state of transformation was too lazy to talk so much nonsense. He crushed everyone with another palm, wanting to kill everyone. This way, he would at least have a reason to get through. The terrifying power swept over, and everyone understood that the palm of the god of transformation was not something they could resist at all. Many people even closed their eyes as if they had accepted their fate. But just when this power reached Mu Yan, the stone in his palm suddenly exploded with a hum. As the stone exploded, an even more terrifying force rushed out from it. This was a fire dragon, with a strong breath, and it slammed into the giant's spiritual palm. Boom! But without any surprise, the giant's spiritual palm melted directly, and it didn't even affect the momentum of the 100-foot fire dragon. The old man who had reached the state of transformation realized that something was wrong. This fire dragon made him feel very dangerous, and he wanted to avoid it, but the fire dragon's speed increased dramatically. It only took a blink of an eye for it to hit him and swallow him directly. That everyone couldn't see his figure, and could only hear another scream coming from the fire dragon's body. Then, it was quiet. Without any sound, the fire dragon flew around in the sky and dissipated on its own. Where was the old man who was swallowed by the fire dragon? Not even a speck of dust was left. Dragon? A fire dragon? Where did it come from? That everyone turned to Mu Yan like puppets, their eyes dull and shocked. They all thought that Mu Yan had used the fire dragon's secret method to kill the strong man in the spirit of transformation with one blow. What a terrifying strength! Even the strong man in the spirit of transformation can't survive a single move. Is this really the fighting power of a Jindan stage cultivator? Good son-in-law, what happened just now? That everyone was extremely shocked, even terrified. Could it be that Mu Yan's strength was still concealed? He was actually not in the Jindan stage, but in the spirit of transformation. No, even if he was in the spirit of transformation, it was not absolutely impossible to kill a master in the spirit of transformation with one blow, unless the realm gap was very large. Mu Yan was also a little stunned. It really deserved to be the method left by the master, as domineering as ever. If you can strike once, you are too lazy to strike a second time. Is this the style of the master? Seeing everyone looking at him in horror, he knew that they all mistook it for his own strength, so he had to explain. It has nothing to do with me. It was the method left by my master that saved us. Gu Yingluo also spread out her palm. She also had a stone here. Yes, the master said that if you encounter danger, use it. Everyone looked at the small stone, still unable to accept that the raging fire dragon just now actually came out of a small stone. If what they said was true, then how powerful was their master to be able to seal such a terrifying fire dragon in a small stone? The head of the Gu family asked with trembling lips, "Daughter, is your master very strong?" Gu Yingluo smiled. Of course, he is the most powerful person in the world, no one can beat him. The master is undoubtedly powerful, the most urgent thing is to deal with the things here. Yingluo and I still have to go to the Jinyu Sect. Mu Yan said to his father-in-law with a smile. He knew that no matter how they explained, his father-in-law would not believe it, so there was no need to waste time here. Master Chen, do you have anything else to say? Mu Yan looked at the almost dying Master Chen. Just now, after Master Chen was hit by his Emperor Fire Lotus, most of his body was burned, and the Emperor Fire was so destructive that it almost killed Master Chen. I lost. After Master Chen used up his last strength to say this, he fainted completely. The head of the Mo family naturally had no objection. He smiled helplessly and said, "The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. My Mo family is willing to give up all the profits this year to the Gu family, that the profits of a family for a whole year are huge." He was also very painful, but what could he do? Didn't you see that the head of the Chen family was almost killed by Mu Yan? Even the god transformation stage was burned to ashes by Mu Yan's fire dragon. Does he have the right to bargain? After paying a huge price and negotiating compensation, both families fled in disgrace. After dealing with the things here, Mu Yan and Gu Yingluo no longer explained and rushed directly to the Jinyu Sect. In the Jinyu Sect, the atmosphere was very tense during this period, because the death of Jin Hao made the sect master Jin Ruetian furious several times. In the main hall, the sect master Jin Ruetian sat on the throne with disheveled hair. His eyes were red and bloodshot, as if he had gone crazy. "How is it? What have you found?" Jin Ruetian asked hoarsely. Below were two core high-level members of the refining void stage. They reported, "Sect Master, the Gu family has been locked, and there will be clues soon." Bang! Jin Ruetian slammed the armrests of the chair hard and broke them. When he thought of his son's death, he was mentally unstable these days. He just wanted to use the most vicious means to make the murderer live a life worse than death. Just when he was in a trance, a disciple ran in a panic and reported the news to him. "Report to the sect master, Jin Xian's life card is broken," that the disciple said tremblingly. He was also scared. Wouldn't it be a deliberate attempt to drive the sect master crazy by reporting the news of Jin Xian's death at this time? However, Jin Xian's life card had indeed been broken, which meant that Jin Xian was really dead. He couldn't deliberately conceal the news, could he? This disciple wanted to bury his head in the cracks of the ground, fearing that Jin Ruetian would be so angry that he would slap him to death with a backhand. What? Hearing this bad news, Jin Ruetian stood up suddenly, and couldn't believe it was true. His son had just died, and now even his favorite disciple was gone. A terrifying aura of the void refining stage was released, and everyone in the hall was breathless. Everyone was also shocked. Jin Xian was dead. At this critical moment, everyone knew that the Jinyu Sect was a volcano that could erupt at any time. How could anyone dare to touch it? Absolutely true. This is the broken life card. That the disciple was so scared that he trembled all over, raised his hands above his head, and presented the broken life card of Jin Xian. Jin Ruetian was completely furious, and the terrifying aura spread out, and the disciple was shocked to death. "Find the murderer for me. I want the murderer to die without a burial place." Jin Ruetian was going crazy. He didn't know that Mu Yan and Ying Luo had already arrived at the foot of the Jinyu Sect, returning to her former sect. Ying Luo was also full of emotion in her heart. Her fate was changed by her master. If there was no master, she might have been forced to be with Jin Hao and become her plaything. Mu Yan looked up at the towering Jinyu Sect mountain and couldn't help but sneered. "Once upon a time, this was an unattainable place in my eyes, but now I'm here to destroy the whole family." Mu Yan's tone was full of murderous intent. He is not a kind person. Jinyu Sect almost ruined his life. Will he spare Jinyu Sect? If it weren't for his master, he would have died long ago. Ying Luo glared at him resentfully and corrected him. "What do you mean by exterminating the whole family? That's too harsh, isn't it? Master said that we should reason with them." Mu Yan suddenly realized and smiled ashamedly. "Look at my brain. I almost forgot Master's teachings. Our purpose is to convince people with reason. Let's go up and reason with them." Chapter 39 Kill Through the Mountain Gate and Break the Void Finger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them walked up the high stairs as if they were here for fun. After arriving at the gate, the two disciples responsible for guarding the gate stopped them. "This is the Jinyu Sect, no idlers are allowed in. Anyone who violates this rule will be killed without mercy." Taiwan Novel Network. These two disciples only have the strength of the first level of the Foundation establishment stage, but their posture is very arrogant. After hearing what they said, Ying Luo asked with a bright smile, "Am I an idler?" The two disciples were dazzled by her beautiful appearance. After taking a closer look, they were surprised to find that this was Ying Luo that the sect had been looking for. It is said that she is related to the death of the young sect leader. Here comes someone. Ying Luo is here. Come quickly. Seize Ying Luo. The two disciples yelled and were about to find helpers to catch Ying Luo. Ying Luo shook her head and said coldly, "I thought I could let you go, but you insist on seeking death." With that said, she took action at will and completely ended their lives. After entering the Jinyu Sect, they attracted the attention of many disciples. After learning that Ying Luo led outsiders to kill fellow disciples, these Jinyu Sect disciples couldn't bear it anymore. Whether it was to catch Ying Luo to calm down the sect leader, or for the purpose of meritorious service, they did not hesitate to attack the two of them. Ying Luo, I advise you to just go ahead and capture her. You are seeking your own death. You two dare to break into the Jinyu Sect. You don't know how to write the word death, do you? Get them. They must be the murderers. Help the young sect master take revenge. Hundreds of foundation building stage disciples came towards the two men to kill them. Seeing this scene, Ying Luo was still a little bit unbearable. After all, she had been in the same school before, and some of the people were quite familiar to her, so she didn't want to kill them all. however, their eyes were full of murderous intent. How could this make her soft-hearted? However, Guang Luo still said loudly, I am not an unreasonable person. Now I will give you a chance to survive. Leave the Jinyu Sect as soon as possible, otherwise don't blame me for being heartless. That this is the last chance she gives these low-level disciples. However, as she expected, these people would not listen to her at all, and instead wanted to kill her. Well. Guang Luo raised her palm, and the crystal spiritual power was already gathering. Just when she was about to take action, Mu Yan stopped her and smiled at her. Ing Luo, leave this to me. That with that said, Mu Yan stopped talking nonsense, raised his hand and shot out a large piece of golden emperor flame, covering hundreds of people. Ah! What kind of flame is this? Why can't it be extinguished? It's over. Run quickly, he is a strong man in the golden core stage, run quickly. That these disciples who only thought about meritorious service were burned by the flames, and many of them fell silent before they even had time to scream. Some people wanted to escape, but it was too late. The divine flame of the heavenly emperor is not that easy to solve. For a moment, this place turned into a terrifying sea of fire. Guang Luo knew that the reason why Mu Yan did not let her do anything was to protect her inner purity. Under Mu Yan's attack, they finally realized in despair that they were no match for Mu Yan, and they would die if they went up. However, the noise they made here has attracted the attention of many sect elders. Who came to Jinyu Sect to cause trouble? Come on, take them down quickly. An elder at the peak of the golden core stage flew into the air and gave orders, but as soon as he finished speaking, a golden flame turned into a spear and pierced his heart. Mu Yan's whole body was covered with a layer of flames, and the flames in his hands continued to condense into spears, which he threw out. Anyone hit by him will not escape the fate of being burned by the flames. Mu Yan was like a flame emperor, wearing flame armor and holding a flame spear, killing 7 in and 7 out of the crowd. Guang Luo also encountered an opponent here. More than a dozen Jindan masters surrounded her and wanted to solve her. However, as a supreme immortal, Guang Luo is extremely powerful in combat, and even when faced with so many golden core masters, she is still at a disadvantage. She even killed several golden elixirs, forcing them to increase their manpower. Hurry up and call for reinforcements. These two people are too strong, we can't withstand them. Especially the one wearing flame armor. His strength is definitely at the Yuanying level. Hurry up and find the Yuanying elder. That they couldn't stand it anymore. A pair of horrified eyes fell on Mu Yan and Guang Luo. They couldn't figure out how these two guys who were obviously in the golden core stage could have such strong fighting power. The chaos continued to expand. At first, everyone thought it was just a small fight, so they didn't take it to heart. Therefore, as long as a few more golden elixir stages are sent out, it can be settled. If the nascent soul stage has to do this little thing, what's the use of having so many golden core stages? But it's different now. The golden elixir level that died in the hands of Mu Yan and Guang Luo has been lower than 20 for a long time. If this continues, all the Jinyu Sect's Jindan masters will be killed by them. Finally, Yuanying stage took action in anger. Two thieves, let me die. An old man was holding a cold sword and was killing Mu Yan. This sword seems to penetrate the heaven and the earth, its power is amazing. Many disciples recognized the sword-wielding old man and cried out excitedly. It's Elder Luo. Elder Luo is a genuine nascent soul expert. That kid in flame armor is dead. No matter how strong a Jindan is, it's still a Jindan. It can never compete with a nascent soul. Kill this kid first, and then capture Guang Luo to see the sect master. That the disciples cheered. They were killed so miserably by Mu Yan just now. This time they can finally save some face. Nascent soul. Good. Mu Yan condensed the heavenly emperor fire lotus again and threw it fiercely at Elder Luo. The small fire lotus drew a gorgeous tail in the air, carrying amazing power, and collided with Elder Luo's sword. Boom boom boom. A loud noise sounded, and the power of the flame explosion broke Elder Luo's sword, and he was blown off half of his body. Seeing Elder Luo, who was wrapped in flames, being thrown out fiercely, all the cheering people fell silent. Damn, that was a Yuanying level expert, but he didn't even catch one move. Are you kidding me? Huh, there's still no way to kill him instantly. Mu Yen felt a little sorry. His Emperor Fire Lotus was still not powerful enough. He could only deal with this kind of strong man who had just entered the Yuanying stage. Moreover, there was no way to kill him instantly. When the disciples of Jinyu Sect heard his words, they were all stunned. They wanted to beat him to death. You, a Jindan stage guy, have already killed all the Jindan stage masters, and now you have defeated a Yuanying stage master with one blow. Isn't that enough? Look around, who can do this? Mu Yan's actions also completely angered some high-level officials of Jinyu Sect. In the eyes of real masters, Mu Yan and Guing Luo, two Jindan stage masters, making trouble here, is just a small matter, but now, even the elders in the nascent soul stage have been defeated. That's not a small matter. They can't be allowed to make trouble anymore. Jinyu Sect is not a place for you to do whatever you want. Guing Luo, follow me to see the sect master, maybe I can spare your life. A very majestic voice spread throughout the venue, followed by a terrifying pressure like a tidal wave. This is the oppression that only the powerful people in the God transformation stage have. A middle-aged man appeared above everyone at some point, looking down at the two people with an extremely cold look, as if he was looking at two jumping ants. Is it Elder Ding in the God transformation stage? Even he was alarmed. There's no way, these two people are too unexpected. How can Elder Ding bear it? It's their honor to let Elder Ding in the God transformation stage take action. That the disciples of Jinyu Sect all knew that if Elder Ding took action, the two people would definitely die, and only Guing Luo had a chance to survive. Spiritual transformation. Guing Luo looked up, but she didn't care at all when she felt the pressure. It's just the spiritual transformation stage. It's not like they haven't killed anyone before. Guing Luo took out a stone and threw it up in the confused eyes of everyone. What is she doing? Is she going to kill Elder Ding with a stone? That's ridiculous. Where did she pick up this stone? Doesn't Guing Luo want to rely on this stone to fight Elder Ding? What is she thinking? That everyone burst into laughter, and the number of disciples and elders added up to thousands, and they couldn't stop laughing. Seeing this, Elder Ding was also very angry. This girl wants to kill herself with a stone, right? Is she deliberately humiliating him? Take you first and hand you over to the sect master. Elder Ding never took them seriously from beginning to end. He stretched out his palm and grabbed Guing Luo in the air. The majestic spiritual power gushed out, forming a river in the sky, rushing towards Guing Luo, trying to tie her up and take her away. In his opinion, it was as simple as catching a fish in the river, without any difficulty. But what he didn't expect was that after the stone thrown by Guing Luo exploded, a sword energy came out from it. Zheng, the sword energy rushed up to the sky, like a real dragon, with an incredible speed, directly cutting off the spiritual power river transformed by Elder Ding, and, with a strong killing intent, rushed towards Elder Ding. What? Elder Ding was completely shocked. The sword energy was so powerful that it made him feel cold all over. If he took this sword energy, he didn't know what the consequences would be. In a hurry, he had to quickly use defensive means to condense the spiritual power into a huge high wall, trying to block this sword energy. However, when the sword energy collided with the high wall of spiritual power, he was shocked to find that his defense was as soft as tofu. The sword energy pierced through his defense without any hindrance, and then penetrated his heart at lightning speed. Boom! The fierce sword energy rushed into his body, and Elder Ding didn't even have a chance to resist, and his whole body was destroyed by the sword energy. Hua la la! Blood rain fell, and everyone was stunned. Elder Ding was a cultivator in the God transformation stage, and he had a very high status in the Jinyu Sect, but now, he exploded directly in front of everyone. No one dared to believe this was true. How could a cultivator in the God transformation stage be killed by a Jindan stage cultivator? Such outrageous things are unheard of. But they happened to see it. Guing Luo felt very painful when she saw Elder Ding being killed by her sword energy. It seems that Master has integrated many magic techniques into these stones. The magic techniques sealed by each stone are different, right? This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Gu Yingluo guessed the master's good intentions. They still have a lot of such stones. A cultivator in the realm of gods was obliterated by Gu Yingluo in one glance, which caused a huge impact and shock to the people of the Jinyu Sect. So much so, that after they were stunned for several breaths, they suddenly woke up and made an uproar like a wave. Dead, dead. How come Elder Ding is already dead? Why is this happening? What happened just now? Where did that sword energy come from? It's that stone. There's something weird about that stone. It must be, that everyone understood in horror that it must be related to the stone thrown by Gu Yingluo in the first place. Suddenly, no one in the entire Jinyu Sect dared to step forward to attack the two. In the main hall, after learning the news that Jin Xian was also dead, Jin Ruetian was completely furious and even killed several disciples to vent his anger. It was at this time that he felt an extremely strong sword energy appear, but it quickly disappeared again. What happened outside? Why is it so noisy? Jin Ruetian roared with dissatisfaction. He swayed and turned into a strong wind and rushed out, wanting to check the situation. After arriving at Xuanhuan Square, his eyes were immediately attracted by Gu Yingluo. Is it her? Gu Yingluo. She is indeed not dead yet. She definitely knows the clues of the murderer. She is even very likely to be the murderer, or at least an accomplice. After seeing Gu Yingluo, all Jin Ruetian's anger and hatred were finally completely ignited. A terrifying aura spread out from his body and turned into an endless wind that swept across the entire Jinyu Sect. It's the Sect Master. The Sect Master has appeared. Gu Yingluo may be a little weird, but the Sect leader has personally come forward, and she has no chance at all. I can rest assured that the Sect leader is taking action. Otherwise, I don't know who else can stop them too. Many people said with lingering fear, it's ridiculous to say that the entire Jinyu Sect would be so frightened by two young monks at the Jindan stage. Gu Yingluo, who was my son killed by... Jin Ruetian's eyes turned red and he roared. Mu Yanfei stepped forward, ignoring the pressure he released, with a frivolous smile, and said loudly, that good-for-nothing Jin Hao died in my hands. Actually, you can't blame me entirely. Who told him to kill me? Speaking of which, I was just trying to protect myself. I'm not an unreasonable person. I really can't be blamed for this. Mu Yan spread his hands and said innocently. However, after hearing him admit that he had killed Jin Hao, Jin Ruetian could no longer listen to anything. He only had one thought, and that was to kill this kid. Poor Void Finger. Jin Ruetian concentrated his spiritual power on his fingertips, and then pointed at Mu Yan from the air. Then, a giant finger that was as big as a mountain peak appeared, and the terrifying pressure it exuded made everyone feel cold all over. Even the monks in the transformation stage began to tremble with fear. Chapter 40. I bet you don't have any stones in your hand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under this finger, even an entire mountain will be completely shattered. It's so scary. The Sect Master's strength has increased again. A Void Refining Stage King used all his strength to kill a Golden Core Stage 1. I have to say that today's battle is already this boy's greatest honor. He is indeed proud of himself. It's just a pity that Gu Yingluo, such a peerless beauty, will also turn into withered bones today. What can be done about this? Who let the two of them be the murderers of the young Sect Master? That everyone in the Jinyu Sect understands that once the Sect leader takes action personally, it means that Mu Yan and Gu Yingluo will never have any chance again. The broken Void Finger is one of the strongest means of the Sect Master. Even if it were me who was responsible for blocking it, I wouldn't be able to block it intact. A senior executive in the Void Refining stage felt frightened after seeing Jin Ruetian's void-breaking finger. Yes, maybe the rage and madness these days have made the Sect leader stronger. Another elder in the Void Refining stage also said, the two of them are the two strongest people in Jinyu Sect besides the Sect leader Jin Ruetian. On Mu Yan's side, he had already been prepared, and before Jin Ruetian could take action, he directly threw a stone. A stone again? What on earth is this thing? Just now, Gu Yingluo used a stone to kill Elder Ding, and now this kid wants to use a stone to resist the sect leader's broken void finger. Seeing that Mu Yan also threw a stone, no one understood what this meant. However, with Elder Ding's previous experience, they did not dare to underestimate this thing. After the stone exploded, it actually formed a huge mountain, exuding a heavy aura, and the surface shone with metallic light, blocking the way of Paksu finger. Boom! As expected, Paksu finger was blocked by the mountain, and the two offset each other. Everyone was shocked by the roar, but no one was willing to close their eyes for fear of missing any detail, but this scene shocked them all. Is he okay? He took the sect leader's Paksu finger forcefully and it was intact. No, didn't he just conjure a mountain? It was that mountain that blocked the sect master's attack. That stone is definitely some kind of special magic weapon, an extremely precious one. It can even neutralize the attack of the sect leader. How terrifying. Everyone was in an uproar. Does it still need to be explained how powerful the sect master's void-breaking finger is? Besides, the two of them are only in the golden elixir stage, so what can they do to resist? But now, Mu Yan has done it. Upon seeing this, Jinyu, who fell into madness, gradually regained some composure. He guessed that if nothing unexpected happened, these two people must have been inherited by a certain super master, so they had so many strange methods. No wonder they dare to attack the Jinyu Sect. Their confidence is due to these heretics, right? They are all good things. If I get them, I will be qualified to go to other sects and destroy them. Moreover, as long as I get your inheritance, my strength will definitely be able to break through to the integration stage. Jinyu laughed extremely ferociously. He has regained a lot of sanity at this time, and the inheritance of Mu Yan and Guang Luo made him greedy. Open the sect-protecting formation. At this time, Jinyu was no longer in a hurry to attack the two of them, but ordered the remaining elders to activate the sect-protecting formation first. The purpose is very simple, to lock Mu Yan and Guang Luo within the Jinyu Sect, don't allow them a chance to escape. Soon, the sect-protecting formation was opened, and a translucent formation was placed upside down over the entire Jinyu Sect. If there is a strong enemy attacking, the sect-protecting formation can play a protective role. Similarly, people inside will be blocked by the sect-protecting formation and have no way to get out. Jinyu smiled ferociously. Hand over everything you have, and I will spare your life. Now he felt that after he figured out the details of Mu Yan and Guang Luo, he was no longer in a hurry to kill them. It is most appropriate to first find a way to get the complete inheritance from their mouths, and then use the most cruel method to kill them. When the disciples and elders of the Jinyu Sect heard the sect leader's words, they immediately understood what the sect leader meant. I can't help but admire the sect leader even more. In front of a murderous enemy, for the sake of the overall situation, you can force yourself to calm down, and even show goodwill to the opponent. The situation of the sect leader is not small. If the good things they have are given to us, the Golden Jade Sect, we will be stronger. Guang Luo, now that the sect leader has personally promised not to kill you, why do you have to go against us? After all, the Jinyu Sect has taught you many things. You are also a member of the Jinyu Sect. Don't you want to see the Jinyu Sect become stronger? Be obedient, it's not too late to turn back now. With the sect leader's ambition, he will definitely do what he says. The elders in the nascent soul stage and the divine transformation stage also spoke one after another, hoping to break through Guang Luo's defenses. Suddenly, the entire Jinyu Sect was trying to persuade Guang Luo, and some of them were trying to influence Guang Luo. Those who didn't know it thought they really loved this disciple. Listening to the persuasion and various concerns from all directions, the sneer on Guang Luo's lips became even stronger. Are these people just stupid, or do they think they are naive? Can such a simple scam really fool me? Master Jinyu, don't treat me like an ignorant little girl, that will only make you look stupid. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Guang Luo sneered mercilessly. Hearing what she said, Jinyu expression became even colder and more ferocious. If you don't eat the toast, you will have to drink it as a penalty, right? The weird stones in your hands are very useful, but such precious things must be consumables. How many times can you use it? Use it once and it will be one less time. Jinyu Sect said sadly. He felt that those stones were very precious and contained incredible power. There can't be many. She had already consumed a few of them just now. How many are left now? Mu Yan and Gu Yingluo smiled a little noncommittally. In terms of quantity, they were the least worried. Before going out, Master gave them a lot of stones. How many did they use? Really? Then I'll let you see if the number of stones in our hands can level the entire sect. As he spoke, Mu Yan took out 2 hands full of pebbles, so many that he could no longer hold them. Every stone is very ordinary, so anyone who has seen its power knows that if so many stones are really thrown out, the Jinyu Sect will most likely not be able to hold on. There's mine too. Gu Yingluo also took out dozens of small stones with a smirk on her face. At this moment, everyone's expressions changed. How many of these rocks do they have? Damn it! It's over now. If all these rocks explode, we little Karami will definitely die, right? If we can't even block a blow at the stage of becoming a god, how can we survive under the stage of becoming a god? Damn it! So many big weapons have been smashed down. I should go see my mother-in-law. All the disciples and elders of the Jinyu Sect were panicking. Their brains felt like they were going to explode. Many ordinary disciples had begun to regret at this time, if they had gone down the mountain to hide first when Gu Yingluo told them to leave. Wouldn't this happen again? Even those who are in the stage of becoming gods will die. Trash like them are not even worthy of being cannon fodder. The moment Jinyu Sect saw so many stones, he was stunned. In his opinion, this was a very precious treasure. Logically speaking, there shouldn't be many. But why can they still come up with so much? Is it true or false? Could it be that for the sake of bluffing, they just found a bunch of rocks to make up for it? I don't believe it. If you have the guts, just come. Jinyu Sect roared, thinking that the stone must be fake. But when he said this, the trembling flesh on his face could not deceive anyone. This is what you said, don't blame us. Gu Yingluo didn't bother to talk nonsense with him anymore, so she threw out most of the stones in her hand without hesitation. Mu Yan, on the other hand, stood behind Gu Yingluo very considerately, protecting her from all possible sneak attacks. If anyone dares to come up, he will throw out a lot of stones to see who is more powerful, or the master's methods are more impeccable.